Welcome to The Explainer. I am so glad you're here today because we are diving into something that is going to completely change how you look at the accessories you wear. Let's just jump right in. Today, we're talking about the art of taking simple, everyday wire and transforming it into gorgeous, handmade jewelry, literally from scratch. We'll be looking at how a really comprehensive beginner's guide breaks this whole thing down so that absolutely anyone can pick up this craft. I want you to think back for a second. You know that feeling when you're browsing a cool boutique or maybe walking through a local craft fair, and you spot this incredible pair of artisan earrings, and you catch yourself thinking, man, I wish I could make that. But then almost instantly you talk yourself out of it, right? You figure it's way too intimidating, or you assume you'd need some crazy expensive professional setup to even try. Well, today we are going to completely dismantle that assumption. I mean, take chandelier earrings, for example. You look at those delicate loops, the sparkling beads, and your brain goes, okay, that takes years of apprenticeship. No way. The source material we're digging into today makes a massive promise. 0 prior experience required. You can absolutely go from raw wire to wearable art, and in this explainer, we're going to see just how accessible this craft really is. To get there, we've got a super clear roadmap. We'll start with why you'd even want to make wire jewelry. Then we'll look at setting up your workspace, mastering those core techniques, creating your very first projects, and finally, overcoming common challenges. So, Section 1, why make wire jewelry beyond the store shelf? Before we even think about picking up a tool, we need to talk about the why. The biggest takeaway here is that jewelry making shouldn't be stressful or intimidating. It's fundamentally relaxing, it's highly creative, and honestly, it's incredibly empowering. You are no longer stuck with whatever happens to be on the rack at the store. You're in the driver's seat. Want to swap a blue bead for a green one? Do it. Prefer copper over silver? Go for it. You can adjust the size to fit perfectly. It's all about making exactly what you want. Plus, there is this massive, undeniable satisfaction in handing someone a gift that you made with your own 2 hands. But our guides also highlight a perk that a lot of craft books kind of gloss over: the real income potential. Seriously, once your friends and family see what you're creating, they're going to start asking to buy pieces. Whether you're selling at local craft fairs, boutiques, or setting up an online shop, wire jewelry is a completely viable way to bring in some extra cash. Moving right along to Section 2, setting up your workspace and preparing for success. Let's just go ahead and bust the myth right now that you need a fancy, expensive studio to get started. This hobby is actually incredibly budget-friendly. You definitely don't need to empty your bank account at a high-end bead store. Our sources actively encourage scavenging for materials. We're talking thrift shops, hobby stores, or, digging through an old jewelry box in your grandmother's attic. Old, broken necklaces, stray buttons, all of that can be taken apart and repurposed. It's basically brilliant raw material just waiting for a second life. And the essential toolkit? It's really approachable. You basically just need a few staples: round nose pliers, needle nose pliers, some flush cutters for clean snips, a flat file to smooth out any rough edges, and literally something as simple as a small wooden dowel rod for shaping. Oh, and before you dive in, the guides are great about safety too. They walk you through using proper eye protection, doing hand stretches so you don't cramp up, and just keeping your workspace safe overall. Now, part of getting set up is wrapping your head around the materials, and that means learning a tiny bit of industry jargon. Don't worry, it's super easy. For example, you've got wire tempers. There's dead soft wire, which is incredibly malleable and perfect for beginners, versus something like half-hard wire. You'll also hear the word findings. Findings are simply the functional parts of the jewelry: your ear wires, head pins, clasps, the nuts and bolts of it all. Once you know these terms, that initial intimidation factor just completely vanishes. All right, Section 3, mastering core techniques and building your skills. This is where we get hands-on. The absolute brilliance of the source material is how it takes these complex-looking designs and breaks them down into a totally logical step-by-step progression. It all starts with the humble jump ring. That's the basic connector holding everything together. From there, you just follow a few simple steps. Cut the wire, grip it with your round nose pliers, roll it to form a loop, and connect. That's it. These simple, repetitive motions are your fundamental building blocks. Master those and you can essentially build any basic necklace or bracelet. It's amazing to think about the bridge between the raw, physical effort, gripping the wire, making coils, forming head pins, and the incredibly elegant final results. You even learn how to make your own French ear wires from scratch. Think about that. You never have to rely on generic, store-bought hooks ever again. You'll also learn how to work harden your spiral wire coils, which basically just means making them stiff enough to hold their shape over time. It's all about connecting that hands-on technique to a beautiful, professional outcome. Which brings us to Section 4, creating your first projects, applying your knowledge. This is the fun part. This is where all those foundational skills come together to make something real. Once you've got the basics down, you progress so fast. You'll be using a rubber mallet to satisfyingly shape wire into a perfect bangle bracelet, or using your new looping skills to create custom dangles for chandelier earrings. You can even craft your own toggle earrings that perfectly blend style and function. The leap from practicing a simple loop to actually wearing a completed piece is remarkably short. And the sheer variety is wild. The source guides walk you through more than 20 complete projects. You're not just making the same thing over and over. We're talking delicate bead and pearl bracelets that would be perfect for a wedding, elegant spiral designs, custom clasps, even wire-embellished greeting cards if you want to cross over into paper crafts. Once you lock in those fundamentals, the creative avenues are pretty much endless. Let's actually look at one of my absolute favorite projects, the knot ring. All you need is a ring mandrel, which is really just a tapered sizing rod, and you can shape wire into a beautiful wearable ring tailored to literally any finger size you want. You are making perfectly sized rings right at your kitchen table. No expensive jeweler, no going to a store to get sized. It is such an empowering feeling. Finally, Section 5, overcoming common challenges and reframing failure. Look, whenever you're learning a new physical skill, there's going to be a learning curve. The authors of our guides are wonderfully honest about this, and they bake a practical, troubleshooting mindset right into the entire process. If the ends of your jump ring don't meet up perfectly, or your coil has a weird gap in it, they show you exactly how to fix it. But what if it's just completely botched and beyond fixing? You literally just cut the wire and start over, and that is 100% okay. Every single mismatched loop or awkward bend is just teaching your hands something new. This brings us to what might be the most empowering philosophy of the entire craft. The guide puts it perfectly. If a project calls for 7mm beads and you only have 5mm, just adjust. This is your jewelry. Make it yours. I love that. This isn't about rigidly following rules. It's about equipping you with the tools to express your own creativity. The biggest reward here isn't just the physical necklace or ring you end up with. It's the absolute creative freedom you gain along the way. We've covered the tools, we've broken down the techniques, and we've seen the incredible things you can create from a simple spool of wire. The barrier to entry is completely gone, so the only question left to ask is, what will your first masterpiece be? I really challenge you to take the leap, grab some pliers, get some wire, and start your own jewelry making journey today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and happy crafting.